This is the Coins, Cashflow, and Conversations podcast. I am your host, Dakota Grady, and this episode is sponsored by Upstate Essential Solutions. If you need help with your accounting and taxes for your business, and you are a nurse practitioner entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, check out my website at dakotagrady.com. Oh, and if you need help with your finances and you want to learn how to invest, you don't know the what, why, or how, I have a free investing checklist for newbies. That's right, people who are just beginning on my website at dakotagrady.com. So, hey, y'all, welcome to the show. I got my best girl, the number one girl, back again for another episode of the Coins, Cashflow, and Conversations podcast. It's a lot of C's, y'all.
Yes, a lot of C's.
Y'all get the point, though. So, welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yes, ma'am. So, today, talking about finances, and we've been married for 15 years.
15, yes.
And I got 3 reasons why we have been married. So today y'all gonna find out the keys to a great marriage. The first key is communication. Talk about that, man.
Oh, you hear this in all the best books. Whenever you go to events, they're saying communication is the key. And I would say it's the biggest thing because it's something that you have to be able to do because there's so much that you have to do in your relationship, and you have to be able to talk everything out. Because between who's getting the groceries, cleaning up, who is driving, getting the girls ready. So there's just so much, every aspect. What are we doing today? So communication is so big in all these different areas within your relationship. So you have to be able to communicate. If you go through the day and you get to the end of the day and you were just saying that something took place, or you may have said it the day before, it's important to reiterate because there's so many things that are going on, or so many things that are happening, that it's important to even remind your spouse that there's something that needs to be done that day, or that you have a plan to go to a meeting, for example. So and with us in Dakota, he's so busy with meetings and networking events, things like that. So it's important for us to be able to communicate and make sure our schedules line up so that I'm available and he can do what he needs to do to continue to work in his business.
And also, we have 2 daughters, so I know that my wife may have some things planned for our daughter, say the library trip.
Yes.
Or Naomi likes to go to events at night. She goes to one event on Wednesday nights.
Correct.
So I'm gonna need to make sure my wife is available, or I'm available, so she can take my daughters to the event.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If I got a meeting and I need to let my wife know, all right, honey, I'm meeting tonight. That way I can take her. Normally my wife takes the girls to different events. I want to go, but I'm working on the business. But sometimes I just pause and say, you know what, my family's important.
Mm-hmm.
Take time for my family, but it all involves communication. Because if I have an event, I need to talk to my wife about it and even remind her about things. She mentioned about cleaning. Like
Right.
today, she was cleaning today, and it was a funny ordeal, but just some things like that about communicating, about cleaning. We actually had an ordeal years ago in our marriage where I was cleaning in one way, she cleaned another way. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then it was a big ordeal. We had a big disagreement about it, but it was because we didn't talk about that before we got married, right?
That's right. And it's a learning experience too, because you were raised in different homes. So your cleaning may be different. Maybe one of you didn't even have to clean up because you had your parents doing it. So you were learning how to clean and do a lot of things for yourself. So it just comes with living with someone, and you learn their habits, what they like, and how they like things cleaned up. And you just come together and decide, okay, you can do this room or you can do that room. This is how I clean. If you wanted it maybe done a different way, then you on your day, if you clean that particular room, then you can clean it your way. Or you can fold the clothes how you would like to, or hang up, whatever that may be. So it just depends on who's doing what in the home. But yes, there in the beginning there was a lot of conversations like that. So you learn over time. So it's completely fine to have those conversations because you're 2 different people. And as I was saying, you've been in different households, and it could be different as far as how you cleaned or managed your money. If like both of us, we had our own apartments before we got married. So just having things differently on your own versus when you're together. So just opening up and being open to change and communicating about things that are going well is a big thing, and your expectations in a relationship.
So it's important to communicate. So let's segue into finance. You mentioned money earlier.
Yes.
Talk about how important it is to communicate about money and work together in your finances, because naturally I'm a saver.
Yes, that's right.
Naturally, my wife is a spender. So there starts the fight right there, y'all. Now, if we both were savers, we'd be like have a ton of money and we would have no life. But if
Probably not much fun.
right, if we both spenders, we'd be broke. But we having fun all the time, y'all.
Yes, that's where it comes in. The opposites attract, which is good.
Right.
And we've learned, because this was very difficult for me when we first started dating, because we were college students. And it was very different there because you didn't have all these things that you have when you're out on your own, and paying rent and also utilities and keeping the car gassed up and buying clothes and food, all those things. So just all those things adding up, which is very costly. So that's why it's so important to be able to communicate about money, because the amount of money can fluctuate at different times in your marriage. With us, we had school. There was school loans after graduating. So that was one thing, paying back loans. And as I mentioned, living expenses. And later down the line, I want to say that you went back to school first. So we had me as the sole income provider as far as the full-time. Dakota was studying and then also working part-time. So when you are thinking about doing those type of things in your relationship, going back to school, if you lose your job, then it's very important to have communication and also know what you're going to do in terms of taking care of your responsibilities with the income that's coming in. So for us, it's always been essential for us to have our household income. I know a lot of people that we've come in contact with, especially Dakota, with helping businesses. You may hear this, I have my account, he has his account, and we have an account. We just pay bills out of this, and then this other account is what we want to do with it. There's different ways of doing it. It's just based on the person's relationship, how they want to manage it. But for us, when we got married, we went through a financial course, and we decided to follow that particular plan in terms of budgeting and getting out of debt. Because me as a spender, I had a huge amount of debt when I left college. It wasn't from college, it was from previous bad choices that I made, and getting out from under all that debt, mostly credit card debt. So we just learned how to manage that income, or excuse me, the debt that I had, and use what we were making. And we really had to be disciplined, be responsible with what we had. We didn't do all this going out to eat, going on vacations. I was used to that. So as a spender, it's really difficult when you are not able to do that anymore. But you have to look at it as you got to sacrifice for this short period of time, especially when you have your spouse that's involved. You don't want them to be miserable while you're out happy doing things, because for me, it wasn't exciting. If Dakota didn't want to come with me and I was just going, that wasn't fun. And for me, it was such a burden having all that debt, because it's such a weight. It's basically what we learned in our class. It feels like a chain around your ankle. And you have, like with me, people calling me, they're like, when am I going to get paid? We want our money. So just dodging all those things, you don't want to be dealing with that. Some people may be fine with it, but I think a lot of people, they're stressed out about it. And if you just tap them in the right way, they're going to be exploding, and it's going to be really bad. So it's important to get rid of all those things that did. And for me, that's what I needed to do. And we were just so much happier, because once all that was taken care of, we just enjoyed ourselves more. That way it worked for both of us. We were out of debt. Then we were able to travel and just use money that we earned. If we wanted to go somewhere, we just, what we call a sinking fund, and we saved up for it, planned for it, and we just had ourselves a good time. We didn't come back to credit card debt. it wasn't any problems, and you can have a much better experience when it's that way. I just think cash is wonderful in terms of just really experiencing and having a great time on a trip. It is possible to do it that way. You don't have to have credit cards, because all of our marriage, we haven't used those for traveling. We just use our debit cards, money that comes in from the earnings, and then we just go and have a good time. So it had just been really good, as I was saying, with just the communication, and then knowing where you are financially and what are your goals financially too. Do you want to own a home? Do you want to build with? Do you want to be able to help other people, help organizations? So you have to be able to communicate what your goals are with money that you have coming in, and also determine what your plans are, what your career goals are. Do you want to start a business? And for us, it has just been like that during our marriage. We have had various businesses. We've been working hasn't gone the way that we wanted it to go. So income level changes, and you have to adapt and figure out what you're going to do next. So yeah, all those two things tie in together. That's why we say communication is key. And then you also want to know what's happening with the money. If you have big goals, like for us, we're at a point to where we wanted to be homeowners. We want to go in it the right way. Don't want to have to be looking at borrowing all this money to be able to go in. We want to be able to furnish the home and do a lot of things once we're in there. If we have any emergencies, then we want to have the money to take care of that, and also be able to take care of ourselves and our family at the same time. So we just want to continue to be responsible. And Dakota mentions a lot of time, what can you do? And we say about increasing your income, starting a business if you can do that. And for us, our goals right now are to increase our income so that we can move in the near future, have a bigger place for our girls, and be able to do more, because we haven't traveled a whole lot, just because we've been disciplined and we're working on getting a few things done. And as I've gone back to school also, because I want to increase income and be able to be more of a support for our family in these goals that we have. And then when you're a spender, you like doing things, that's important also. Because I'm thinking I'm not able to do as much as I used to or I want to do. So that means I need to make some more money. So that's exactly what is happening. So right now, just taking this course, and it's an IT profession. So I do know that IT work, information technology, it is booming. It's well paid. And there's probably going to be a number of positions that's going to be out there that I can look into and apply for. And my college background is technology. So I just feel like I'm going to be so comfortable in that field and enjoy just the studying part of it right now. So yeah, if you want to see some changes in your life and your income, then you just communicate with your spouse, and then you figure out what you need to do, what course of action that you need to do to change that situation. And if you're having an income problem, what do you need to do to fix that? So, you have to evaluate your life and evaluate that with the person that you're with so that they can know and support you as well. And that's what we've done.
All right, y'all. She is good, ain't she? She good, y'all. So the third reason why I believe we're still married is, first, communication. Talk to your spouse about things, schedules, important things that are important in your marriage. Secondly, work together on your finances, right? And third part, some people may not agree about it, but we're gonna talk about it. Having faith in Jesus.
Correct.
Without Jesus, man, like I would tell people, I'm crazy with Jesus. She crazy with Jesus, but we both crazy with Jesus. Because without Jesus, man, we probably wouldn't be together. That's the truth right there. So our faith is very important for us. It's critical for us to come to, basically to talk to our Father, God, and then Son Jesus, and then to get grounded, because my goal as the father of this household is to be like God and Jesus. They are my leaders. They teach me how to love people, including my wife,
Yes.
my kids, and people who out here in the world crazy too. But my highest calling is to be more like God and Jesus Christ. I gotta be the example in my household, to love my family and love people and love myself too. So talk about how important faith is for you.
I would say that it is the highest priority for me and in our relationship, because it's mentioned, we are really not good people at all. So if we just left it up to ourselves, it will be bad. And I have just witnessed myself and saying, okay, when I'm distant or have a distance, I don't feel connected to God, then there's just this void. And I could be bitter. At times, there may be a little bit more anger. I may be frustrated with how things are going in my life and maybe take that out on people that's around me. And I don't mean to, but it does happen sometimes. But when I get myself reconnected to the Father, I'm listening to worship music, I'm reading devotionals, and I'm at church, and I just surround myself with other people who love Jesus, then this has been what has helped me tremendously. And I don't believe that I could even go through life without a spiritual foundation. It's been something that we grew up with, our household, and has always been a part of church. And when I've gotten older, then I really saw what the relationship was. It wasn't just what people call religion. It was a true relationship. And for us, and being connected, having our girls in church, this has been so great for them because they really look forward to. I know Naomi does look forward to going to church, and she has memory verses that she remembers, and she sings songs. And I'm so excited when we're in the car, she'll just start singing the song. She wants to stay in the car until it goes off. So that just makes me proud. And our statement that we have said and when we pray is that we want to raise her up, both our girls, to be fully devoted followers of Christ. We learned this a long time ago when we were attending Life Church, and we still keep a lot of those sayings. And then our church now is just awesome in the worship team. So this is just a part of who we are. So we don't get away from church too often unless there's just special events going on, but this will always be a foundation for us, and it helps us stay connected. We pray, especially if there's major things going on, we come together and pray about it. So just a spiritual foundation in your relationship, it is a must. We say it's a must to be able to make it in this life.
That's right, y'all. So we're married for 15 years, over 15 years now, and we've been together since 2001. So we've been together 22 years. So I know you know a little something about marriage, you know what I'm saying? So I want to encourage you all, if you're struggling with your marriage, communicate. One, secondly, get on the same page with your finances. And if you don't know Jesus, I want to extend the invitation to you to get to know Jesus Christ for yourself, and then hopefully your spouse will want to do the same. So anything you want to close with?
No, I think that wraps it up very well. We thank you guys so much for just hearing us out on this podcast today. And we hope that we have shared something with you that will impact your life, that you can take away from this and use it in your own lives.
Thank you all for joining the Coins, Cashflow, and Conversations podcast. This is your host, Dakota Grady, with my lovely spouse, Shameka Grady. And if you need help with your accounting and taxes for your business, contact me today at dakotagrady.com. And if you need help with your finances and want to learn more about investing, go to our website at dakotagrady.com. This episode of the Coins, Cashflow, and Conversations podcast is sponsored by Upstate Essential Solutions. Thank y'all for joining us.
Take care and be blessed.